When I hugged Lauren in the lobby of her hotel on the Upper West Side, the first time I'd done so since college, her silky, blossom-fragrant hair reminded me instantly of she as a girl and I as a boy. An ancestral twinge of the desire I'd once acted upon arose as we re-embraced, to where I wondered, am I more flexible than I've thought all these years? Could what happened then occur again? As we slid deep into a scallop-shaped booth, she sipping a scotch, I a Manhattan, I detected the first time in these 35 years since symptoms of the jealousy and wounding from when I first knew her. Lauren had been the girlfriend of my then best college friend. Mark knew I loved him, but because he was so tolerant, he accepted it. I wrote him poems, left gifts on his bedspread, even played in his basketball league, double dribbling every game, the shrieks of a ref's whistle acknowledging my errors. Lauren would sleep over at the house in the Ann Arbor student ghetto. I was so naive about sex that I mistook the retainer she'd leave on the sink every night for a diaphragm. Sometimes I'd try to stay away the entire night, bicycling into distant neighborhoods, sleeping on the porch chaise, because I couldn't bear knowing that down the hallway from my room, she and Mark were together. Lauren knew of my feelings for Mark, and she'd knock on my door and sit cross-legged with me on the floor to reassure me that Mark loved me too, just in a different way, as did she. But she said something in the hotel that startled me, a conclusion I'd thought my own. I think you fell for me because I was as close to Mark as you could get. We let that proclamation settle until our ice cubes snapped. I was a fallen woman for doing that. Here I am describing myself now as a serial monogamist with men and women. But then I was straying and betraying Mark. For the first time, I realized I had betrayed Mark as my friend, and I felt a concussive shame. I reminded Lauren of our first time in the neo-Gothic law library, sacred in its splendor. We discovered a windowless study room within, and there we went. For so long that the library closed and we were locked inside, setting off alarms as we raced through a fire exit. I've no recollection of that, she said. Yet for me, it was not only my first moment with a girl, but also the most significant of our being together. I do remember our going to the Arboretum one morning, making dew angels, she said. We had a connection. As we reminisced in the booth, votives of flicker about the dark lounge like the planetarium star shows we'd attended at school, we touched shoulders, knees, inhaled our scents, ancient in their familiarity. I wasn't sure I'd known it before, but I think that once we love someone romantically, we love them always. That it's akin to getting some virus that stays in the body, dormant, seemingly inert, but which, under the right circumstances, reactivates the original symptoms, though a weaker strain. When you see someone again after decades, someone who really is interested in knowing everything you've done, whatever you say about how you've occupied your life just doesn't seem like anything or enough. A succession of office layouts, apartments with skyline views, others of pigeon-flapping air shafts, in-laws who are no longer that. I remember taking you to that diner on State Street and holding you so tightly an old woman crossed the street to say, "You really love this girl." And? I did. Seems they're closing, blowing out candles or stars. Can we keep talking? My room upstairs? But I'd recovered. Symptoms abated. It was 1 a.m. Time to leave the hotel.